That's it.
I'm
just gonna
make my cup of tea.
Yeah.
And my water.
Yeah.
And then I will leave. Never to return.
Never to return. Blimey.
I don't know.
Bit morbid.
Sometimes say be careful what you wish for. Oh, she's back again. There we go. Back and forth. Back and... Oh, and again.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
There's something slightly different with this one. We're going to interview each other at the same time. Mr. Bottley.
Mr.
When
Burke.
did you join? Oh, when did you join SIYT?
Okay. I joined SIYT. I think in September 2008. Yeah, I missed the audition, so I had to have an individual audition an hour before Youth Theatre started. They were currently they just started rehearsing, or I don't know. Yeah, you must have started rehearsing Romeo and Juliet like really early on. I don't know. And yeah, and so Amy Gowden was there, and I had to read in Romeo. Bear in mind, I'm pretty much dyslexic. I've never had it like confirmed, but like I really struggle with reading, and I had to read in Shakespeare. You know, year 9 me, in front of Jonathan and Brian and probably Tyler. I'm not really sure. And this new person who I'd never met, this new girl who was playing Juliet, and it was awful. Don't know how I got in.
And then here you are.
And then here I am, all those years later.
After a successful stint.
Yes. How about you, Mr. Burke?
Well, I joined in October 2006. So I believe the auditions were the end of September, and they actually took a long time to actually tell you. Because I think it was on Halloween or the day before Halloween.
Oh, really?
Actually accepted in. So it was quite a long time, a month really. But I remember it quite well because I couldn't make the boys' audition because I was going to a gig, and then so I asked if I could go to the girls' auditions. They're like, yeah, that's absolutely fine. But I remember singing "The Lion Sleeps Tonight" as my audition song.
Brilliant.
I love hearing people's audition songs because some of them just don't make sense, and like you wouldn't normally accept them. But here we are.
Here we are. Yeah.
Lion Sleeps Tonight. And I did not go to the bit where he goes,
Oh, why not? That's like the best bit. You know.
What is your favourite show that you've been in?
Oh, my favourite show I was in. I tell you what, it's so difficult because I mean, I just really, you know, I loved every show. Journey's End, you know, is always going to hold like a special something. It was just, you know, you know, the costumes were great. You know, the play itself is great. Had a really cool character. You know, working with some of the older boys. You know, that was such a great, really good fun show. And you know, that was brilliant. And the set, just incredible. You know, and that was it was such a different thing. You know, doing a show. You know, in November, it was just, you know, this autumn show that we decided to do because you know, for Remembrance Day, and yeah, it's just, you know, that's always going to hold something really special. But you know, I was very lucky. You know, in my time at Youth Theatre, I was blessed with a lot of very good roles in a lot of really good shows. So, you know, it's hard to pick a favourite, but yeah, certainly there's definitely something special.
You were
Journey's
that
End.
good in all of them.
No, not at all. I was just very lucky. I think I was just very lucky.
Some of my favourite rehearsals were in Journey's End.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of the current members now know of the game acute, especially those who were in 12 incompetent jurors, where it's number 1, sir, accused number 3, sir. It
wasn't just the you know, the show itself. I mean, as amazing as that was, it's absolutely, you know, the sort of the banter and the camaraderie that we had during rehearsals. I mean, I've always been a bit of a stickler and a bit of a teacher's pet, so I'm always, you know, the first one to be quiet when we get told to be quiet and stuff. But you know, but I do, you know, I really remember I remember doing a scene. I think it was probably with Moz, and we were sat at this table doing our lines or whatever. And I suppose it was probably everyone else. I certainly remember it being Luke and Max, and it's probably yourself too, like opening and shutting the doors of Broadleys. And then the doors would just open and there'd be a new picture on there, and then they would shut, and then you'd hear like laughing, and obviously like during a scene the women would be paying attention to, and then it's just I mean that was really really funny. What about yourself? Those last two questions. So, favourite show and any sort of memories from it.
I think Bugsy Malone for me stands out really. I think because it was my last one. It was like surrounded by people that really made it special as well. And I think us as bad guys with Matt Stevenson and Sly, and then obviously as we've spoken to Joe in the past, by him being Fat Sam and our boss, it was such a good sort of coming together and having a great time and really enjoying that show. There's always one person in every single musical that is the loudest singer as well. And because I didn't have any speaking parts, really, I just had the singing and the dancing, which is very different for me.
Yeah.
To be recognised as the loudest singer was quite nice as well. But I think A Midsummer Night's Dream, that was great as well. And I think for your death scene in it, your apparent death scene and whatnot, again, it was perfect casting all round.
Really good casting.
We spoke to Tyler about this as well, and he was like, "You're literally the epitome of Peter Quince." And I'm like, "Cheers!" But I think it's so weird to think back on all these sort of roles, and I think every fringe that we've been to, whether it's been one that I've been performing at or volunteering at, they are just as everyone says, they just step it up really, and they're just a new sort of world of performing. Just trying to think really of other shows. I think Journey's End is just again, it's a small role, German soldier. I had to learn a certain accent. I was very Jonathan made sure I learned a certain accent. However, when it came off quite Polish to be fair, on one of the nights, I think I changed my accent every night by accident. But again, those sort of things that you learn new things all the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes it could be a new dance, sometimes it could be a specific accent from the mountains of southern Germany.
But Midsummer Night's Dream was it's a bit of a kind of. It's kind of this, telling about I hadn't, I did a bit of Shakespeare, like you said, in Romeo and Juliet, but not never really properly experienced it, and had never really, I guess, fully understood it either. I didn't, you don't get it, do you? I'd seen some Shakespeares and enjoyed them, but it's hard. It is a really difficult thing to kind of get into. But Tyler's direction, Midsummer Night's Dream was great, and I had, I didn't realise, you can have as much fun and there is as much freedom as there is with it that kind of comes from it. And I mean, it's totally sparked a love for Shakespeare in my opinion. It was great. It was a really good show. It was a great show, and then I was lucky enough to get to I helped out. I was sort of Colette's assistant director for Much Ado About Nothing, which was again another romantic comedy, which was really really good, and that that opened up my eyes massively because obviously Colette knows a lot about it, and I'd love the youth here to get more behind the kids to get more behind Shakespeare, because it is brilliant when you start to get it, and give yourself over to it. It's great. You can have a lot of fun with it. One day.
Working with Tyler, working with you lot as well. Again, it's just something that really pushed friendships as well. I think, especially with Tom Mercer as well. I think us three became really close anyway.
Yeah.
We were working on Journey's End and then Midsummer Night's Dream, all this sort of stuff, and we were doing so much that it to work on to work on it, not only in a sort of like seeing the words and being like, I don't know what this means.
Yeah.
I was going to think of a quote then, but I can't remember really. All I can, like, the main thing I can remember is from Romeo and Juliet, which is stop thine hallowed tongue.
Journey's End. You know, I remember being very quiet. When I watch it back now, I can see how quiet I was on stage. I was so quiet. And then Midsummer Night's Dream, having Tyler be like, Bottom is this huge character, you know, a larger than life kind of person. He's this huge, thinks he's a really impressive actor, and you have to be big and loud and show off all the time. And that was like way beyond my comfort zone. I was quite happy to I enjoyed some nice roles with Youth Theatre, but I was quite happy to be quiet and you just get by. And then Tyler comes along and he's like, be big, really, really big. And he was just like, it's never big enough. You just keep going. And yeah, that was so yeah, I think it was a bit of a turning point really for me, because that's where I guess I kind of real confidence started to I guess I started to find some real confidence. Perhaps the most special show to me is Vision. That is, for me, is the epitome of youth theatre, because of Blue, and that was my first time going to the Fringe, and it was the first, I think, coming back from the Fringe after Vision. Suddenly I felt like I was really part of the youth theatre. Like I'd felt like I was part of the youth theatre before. Coming back from the Fringe, like I really felt like I'd made friends at that point, and I really, it was something that just really bonded everyone so well. And that Fringe, I've got such incredible memories of every part of it, from staying at the Loretto. I remember watching, I don't know, like a horror film like Creep or something. I don't know.
It was Creep, I remember.
It was Creep. Yeah, I remember watching that.
Which does not help my fear of horror and whatnot.
No, not at all.
I watched it.
I remember being so scared at that, but watching everyone and going out and seeing shows, and I don't know, but it's just it's just brilliant. So many memories from that. So I don't know if you share those same memories of that Fringe 09.
Yeah, I think the same thing with Fringe 09, to be fair, because it was at that point where you had loads and loads of like these older members. I was intimidated by them. I knew them all, from obviously spending time with them, and I was still trying to settle in. Really, it took me a while to settle in. In fact, Peter, there was a time where I nearly quit you.
Oh, really?
Together. It must have been in my first or second year. I think it must have been before Vision, which must have been my first actual musical, because I just wasn't settling in. And then all of a sudden it clicked, and then I know so many people now, so many people from my year, from years below, years above, that just and you just warm to each other in these sort of scenarios. And it wasn't until I actually stayed for a show, like a proper show, that I really settled in. And then Fringe 2009 just, as we said, reaffirmed it. I think it affirmed our friendship. I think it affirmed quite a lot of things, quite a lot of friendships. And my biggest thing is obviously stuff that we did as a group outside of youth, going on those boat trips. Having your boat was just like an absolute godsend during the summer. And I think going on road trips to the beach and all this sort of stuff, just trips in general with youth theatre, again, they just reaffirm your love for it, and make sure that you are bonded as well. Because you can have that in rehearsals, but I think as well, it's a true testament if you can actually spend time with people outside of youth theatre as well.
Well, it's not. I'd say it's absolutely that, but it's more than that, in the fact that like very few of us were in the same year. Next to none of us went to the same schools as each other. We just had this one thing in common. Let's take boat trips or trips to Hunstanton, or whatever that we did. Parties that we did outside of youth. You think everyone, entire mix of ages, a huge mix of schools, everything from Ives, St Peter's, Hinchinbrook, Abbey, all wherever, and yet we had this common thing, and we just became, so many of us became such good friends, like the best of friends. It's Yeah,
Yeah.
it's great times. A lot of
It was.
lot of good memories.
And I think, were there any sort of really emotional times for you?
I guess when I joined youth theatre, you don't realise how good it is, and then you start, you have all these friends, and you start enjoying doing the shows and stuff. And I joined at the beginning of year 9, and when it came to its end, that was it was really that was very emotional. I remember just thinking, I couldn't believe that it was over.
It was, so I went up and sat on like the top row, so right at the back, right in the corner, and just sat there and like looked at the stage. I just looked at it and I was like, gee, this is the final few times I'm going to be able to perform. And then Tyler spotted me, and he came up to me, and I was like, mate, just like, this is so weird, like, I'm not going to perform it again. And he just like looked at me, laughed, and just like said some expletives, whatever, and then walked away. And I was like, yeah, I should probably like get on with things, because it's not the final one just yet.
Yeah.
But then it comes to the last night, and literally the last person to leave the stage. So there was a few people behind me, and I would just like, oh no, I've dropped something, oh no, and then they would go in front of me, and then so I was literally the last one, and I waved at the audience. Most of them had no idea who I am. And as soon as I walked through the curtain, bawled my eyes out. Like, literally bawled my eyes out. I was just in an absolute state. And then for the remainder of that evening, the after party, it was just a case of people coming up to me and going, "Sam, you were really good." I'm like, ah! I can't remember who. 2 younger members like came up to me and said, "Oh, you're the funniest person." I was like, "No." I'm like, "Oh, you don't know many people then." Just like crying, like, because people have been so nice to me. But the one thing that Tyler always said, that will forever kill me in that moment, is, "I'm so proud of you." I'm like, I didn't do it. Like, and it's one of those ones that like anything that anyone said to me that meant a lot, and it carried with me. And then and I think it's so that people mention, it's like you're never going to have that similar sort of vibe as a group again. Like, you can have it in a different sort of context. You can have different kind of family vibes. But you're never going to get this one.
The thing is, when you leave youth theatre, as in if you stay until the very end of sixth form, at that point you are an adult, and your life changes. Then you're 18, or very nearly 18, and you're probably set to either go into work, or go to uni, or have some kind of gap year, or some kind of further training, or whatever. Or maybe you don't know what you're doing, But the thing is, that kind of period of your life where there's sort of no responsibilities, you're still a kid, you still live with your parents, or whatever, and suddenly, things change. So even if from other shows I've done since then, you might have you might join a cast for a show, but that's it. It's just a cast for a show, and you'll get really close, but you won't have that. Youth theatre is a continuous family. You might, you might all bond over, say, some of the new ones would have bonded over Legally Blonde, and that would have been great. But the thing is, it doesn't stop when Legally Blonde was over. It didn't stop when Spring was over. It kept, well, it did, but it shouldn't have stopped. It keeps going. It keeps going, and there's another show, but it's still with the same family, and so it's more than just that one-time thing, which is probably what we've both experienced since youth theatre. It's a continuous, and to the point where you leave, which I think is why that is such a big moment for so many people. I don't want to leave. I described. I remember when I did my leavers speech. I said, coming to youth theatre was like, for me, was like the Pevensey kids in Narnia going into Narnia. Going into the Corn Exchange or Westfield, or any rehearsal space we were in. It's like, stepping through those doors was like opening up the wardrobe doors into Narnia, because it's this world where it doesn't affect, for me, because I wasn't at the Ives, so I wasn't in and around a lot of the people that were there. You stepped in there, and it was this whole different group of people. Like I said, that it didn't affect the outside. It didn't affect my school life, which is ultimately the majority of your kind of childhood life is in school. and so for me it was just this brilliant thing. So yeah, coming to the end of that was like the end of when you get to the end of Narnia and they step out the wardrobe, spoiler, and then they open it up again and it's not there anymore.
Yeah, going on from leader speeches, I think that's something that was brought in, and that was something that really sort of it showed a lot of people what others were experiencing as well. And I think Moz's leader speech, for instance, like that really resonated with a lot of people, because youth theatre comes at a time where you really need it as well, whether that is for a confidence piece, whether that is for a distraction, whether that is for a career. Like, in some cases, it's for all three. And I think youth theatre guided me towards a career. Really, I was very much lost when I left as well. I mean, I came straight back really, and helped out. But I think the comparisons that we have with other kinds of castings and shows and everything else, like it's never going to be the same, and you've just got to accept that. And if you're in youth, to enjoy that whilst you can, whether you do it for 1 year, 2 year, 5, 6 years, like you just got to really go for it.
100%.
Because, as you said, like the stupider you look and the stupider you feel, the less likely you'll be embarrassed.
Yeah.
Well, the more you'll do stuff.
Yeah, I think it's very difficult because to get the best out of a performance, you've got a lot of the time you have to allow yourself to be vulnerable. You can put up a pretense and kind of just get through something A to B, but if you allow yourself to to make mistakes in the rehearsal room, which is what the rehearsal room is there for, to push things and potentially get things wrong, but then you learn from it rather than just thinking, oh, that will work, so I'll do that. Well, try, okay, maybe that will work with this. Try some more, play with this, be bold.
Why do you always come back to help?
Okay, right. So, I mean, I think if it's not apparent, I loved my time at youth theatre, so of course I wanted to come back and help. When I left youth theatre, I'd been auditioning for drama schools. Unfortunately, didn't get into drama school when I left first year out. So I stuck around and I got a job working at my dad's factory in like the sales office for a bit, and that allowed me to come and help out with youth theatre. So I helped out on a Thursday night. Obviously I was good friends with Frankie and Moz, and so that we were able to, we sort of ran youth theatre kind of together. Obviously I was under, but we do a lot of sort of 50-50 on the nights of doing things, and I loved I went off and did workshops and stuff, and I'd come back and I'd do little bits of what I'd learned in different workshops or different auditions that I'd done, and I wanted to come and like, oh, you guys should try this, I did this game and it was really, really cool and whatever. So that I guess wanting to pass on things that I'd learned once I left youth theatre made me want to come back and help, and then obviously I hadn't had a chance to direct, so I was Colette's assistant for Much Ado, like I said, and then I was also Frankie's assistant for Ragged Child. Both were great experiences. I got to design, pretty much design most of the set for Ragged Child, which was really cool. That was quite a cool experience. I just had this idea one day and was like, it'd be really cool if we tried this, and it ended up being built, which was quite an amazing thing to have happen. And I designed a bit of the set for Much Ado as well. It was just it was like a new experience. I left youth theatre, but hey, it doesn't mean you can't stick around for a year and come do some directing, or see what it's like to actually run youth theatre a bit. Run some sessions and run the improv games and stuff. And that was really, really cool. And then now it's I came back to help a friend. I came back to help you, because you were like, do you fancy coming back? And I was like, yeah, I'm going to be about. So yeah, let's come back and get a bit involved again. Didn't expect to get quite as involved as I did. that wasn't expected. I hadn't planned on that, but but again, being given the chance to actually to properly direct a show, which I had never done before, was was very tempting. And so it was, and particularly a show that I really love, really love. So yeah, that's why I come back, and suppose why I'm still doing it is because I know that youth theatre means a lot to people, and so if particularly in this troubling time, if we can bring some joy to and some consistency to people's lives, then that's no bad thing.
As soon as I finished, I didn't actually leave. I stayed for that year to help out the volunteers, and then eventually went off to uni, and then I came back to stage manage a couple of shows, went to the Fringe, all this sort of stuff, and then after that, I think I was at that point where I was like, I keep going back to it. I need a bigger break. I need a bigger break from you to get on with my own stuff, like try and get somewhere. But as the way of the world works, some things you drifted towards, and I think it reached a point where the stuff that I wanted to do wasn't quite working because I wasn't working as a normal human being because I was so all over the place really, and my head was not in the right place. And so mentally I needed something to reset myself after I'd been through like loads and loads of different sort of changes in my life. Like I needed something to reset myself, and youth theatre is obviously the thing that kept me going anyway. And so to come back to it was something that I needed to do really. And it was hard. It was hard to come back and like be the head honcho and like have all these people be like, what are we going to do? And I'm like, things and stuff.
Yeah.
And just trying to like think back to the times of when I was in youth theatre and what I could do to sort of influence them and keep it going, like keep the DNA, keep the spirit alive. And it was a challenging year because I was struggling like mentally, and I was trying to get back to that point. And I think it taught me a lot. Again, coming back, it taught me huge amounts. Doing two shows. One was 12 incompetent jurors, but I that was already something that was in the pipeline, and so I had to come in and do that. And it's got some of my favourite moments from that. And directing that was absolutely fantastic. I had a great cast. And then Legally Blonde came in. That was such a different sort of challenge, and there's so many challenges in Legally Blonde. Any words of wisdom, Peter? Youth
theatre is a very actually quite a small amount of time in the space of your life, but it can have a massive impact. For me, it gave me a career, what I wanted to do, which I never thought it would do. I just did it because I thought it'd be a bit of fun on a Thursday night. Never expected to find what I kind of wanted to do from it. And it doesn't mean that that's what you have to do from it. It just means, what I mean to say is just enjoy it whilst it's there, because it's it might have a big impact on your life. Just enjoy it, have fun with it, and give yourself over to it, because there's a lot of opportunities to be had, and a lot of great times to be had too. Yeah.
Be in that moment, like be there and enjoy it and love it. And everyone else who we've spoken to hits the nail on the head every time, and it's been fantastic to hear that. Like it really has, and I hope that it either inspires current members, new members, old members, everyone who's helped out, parents. And I think that's those moments when parents come up to you and say, oh, they've changed, they're now flourishing, they're brilliant. Like there's a huge confidence boost when teachers tell you like it changed them, their acting is different now. Like all of these things are so warm, and so it makes me happy that it was exactly like that when I was told, like you've developed, you're better, you'd like this, that, and the other. Like no place that I know gives you that in this way. I'll speak to you.
Do that thing where we go.
Okay.
Yeah, ready?
Okay.
1, 2, 3, go.
Big holes.
You didn't go black.
No. How about that?
Well, it doesn't work now, does it? Let's try again. Ready?
Okay.
3, 2, 1. Woo.
Thanks, Chris. Rich on costumes and hair. Bless us. James, our production manager. And I'm going to shut up now because these two guys did the directing. Most of the heavy lifting for the DNA bits, I did a couple of little bits. Not much, but over to them. All right, guys.
I really try and keep this brief. I'm just so incredibly honoured to have been able to work with all of this incredible cast for DNA. Because they take a really, really tough script that is really heavy, and they just knock it out of the park. And I am so proud of every single one of them for putting on the show they did tonight. It just, my heart is in my mouth. I can't stress how much I'm grateful for the tech team up there who created this incredible show, and backstage who run everything, and everyone who helps, and of course Andy, who is underplaying his role in the production of this massively and has been the biggest help with me directing this. So I'm just so proud and thankful for every single one.
Because we've got to get this, we've got to strip everything, so we've got to get this out. So, first of all, thank you for coming back and directing a fabulous, fabulous show. All of you DNA people, so proud of you, and it's been such an honour to see. And then to have such a hard play for dumb waiter with these two girls has been absolutely brilliant, and like, it's just been... Everyone sort of picks it up at the same time, and like there's different. It's a hard one to do, and they've just done it so well. Thank you to Colette helping out as well. Everyone here has just been absolutely brilliant. But as Peter said, I think there's a few people like I think Jess, Liz, you're all incredible as well. But I think this man is an absolute wonder. He's made pretty much half the sets. He loves this place so much. His kids aren't even here anymore, but he keeps this going, and he's one of the best chairmen that this youth has ever seen. He does so much for this place, and it makes me so happy that we're all together and that we can produce theatre like this. It's incredible.